lions and lionesses. I want to share with you an important lesson today, one that really helped me. But when I first started training, and for many years after that, I thought I had to be perfect. Like all these things had to line up for me to have a good workout. And it required a certain type of music, a certain number of people at the gym that I was training at, have access to certain equipment when I wanted to have it. And there was a lot of moving parts. So it was very difficult to have great workouts and to really just enjoy the process. And so it became more of a struggle, and I wasn't as interested. I just did it because I was going through the motions. And then something changed. And what changed was my purpose for training. And when I learned this, I never missed a workout since then. Not even when I was sick. I'm going to tell you how to do the same thing, because what's the purpose of training? If you're doing it to look a certain way, to lose a lot of weight or lose a little bit of weight, but if it's all about the aesthetics, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to look at it deeper. And when you look at it deeper, you'll realize how it limits you. And this is why so many people fail. Like almost 100% of people, less than 1% of people get where they want to be and actually love and appreciate their body. And that's really the most important thing. No one really cares what we look like except ourselves. We think everyone's looking at us usually. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying that used to be me. And so what really matters is our quality of our life, our emotional experience. Like Tony would call it beautiful state. I would call about the lion and the lamb. Like the part of you that lives in love-based emotion, that part of it where you're in the flow of life, where life is fun and easy, even though you appear to be working hard. And you are working hard, but that's a perception thing, because if you're loving what you're doing, time flies. If you hate what you're doing, a second is an eternity. And you know what I'm talking about. So the purpose of training is to live in love-based emotion, to master your mind and body. The side effect is that you look differently. But if you're training because you don't think you're enough the way you are, you may work really hard and even get there sometimes. Usually that's not the case though. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I can tell you that is very rare. And then some people get in great shape, but they relapse because it was just so difficult. They didn't enjoy the process. So every person I ever worked with that's been successful and kept going, like a lot became trainers, several even opened their own gyms, and they made it their life because of this. And the true purpose of training is to live in a beautiful state of being. That is to live as your true self, not to dissolve the ego, the personality that was needed to be created when you were younger so you could survive and understand the world. But now it's about dissolving those limitations, those limiting beliefs. And that's why we train. Because as we do difficult things, what fires together wires together. What you think about when you train will determine your long-term success. Think about this. This is neuroscience 101. Everyone's been programmed in a way from society. That's what we're doing. From the time you're born, your brain actually changes up until the age of about 25. Very rapidly up to the age of 7. That's when we build most of our belief system. And those beliefs are our software. It's like downloading an app. We download a bunch of apps from an environment unconsciously. A lot of people did it for us because they're like, this is what they need to know. Or most of them were unconscious completely, and they were just living their life trying to get by. And we picked it up because we were kids, and we're mostly in a theta brainwave state. And that's really hypnosis up to the age of 7. And then it becomes less and less. But you still can be programmed at any point. So we have to guard the door of our minds. It's very important. But if not, someone will do it for you, and they will want to control you, and you will work for them probably, or you will be a cog in their wheel. And that sounds crazy, but it's true. Just look at it a million different ways and you'll see it's true. So we train to be our best. We train to live as our true self, that lion, that lioness, that part of you that is really you, the part of you where life is fun, it's easy, and you kick ass, right? And that's the real purpose. But really meditate about this. Contemplate on the fact that if you're doing it to weigh a certain amount, to look a certain way, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it's limiting. And if you do that and your whole thing is like, I got to weigh this much, my waist has to be like this, I need to wear this size, that is reinforcing the belief that everyone has at some point. And if we're one of the rare people that go beyond it, and you're the type of person that can do it, that's why we're having this conversation, that is what we want to do, that you're not enough. If you're not enough, you won't be loved. And what that means is we need to break that, because everyone's enough. We're all here for a reason and a purpose. We may not always know what it is, but I can tell you there's a common theme, and it's to become more. It's how can you be in this world of, very love-based emotion and very hate-based emotions and everything between, and expand and grow and be who you really are, to live as that lion in a place where there's a lot of lambs, people living in fear. And that's what I'm talking about. When I say the lion and a lamb, a lamb is a creature that cannot defend itself. It has no claws. They're not fast. I don't know if you know these things. I grew up and I had one named Houdini, and that thing was so fear-driven. So they grow up, and what do I mean by fear-driven? This is their nature. They're not bad or anything. They're innocent. They're just being lambs. They have to do what they survive. But we have the ability, we have a prefrontal cortex. We can make decisions where it's not our nature to be in fear. We're trained to be in fear. And so a lamb will grow up and become a sheep, and it will live in a flock. Why? Because they like to be together? No, because that's how they survive. So when a predator comes like a wolf, they jump to the center so they don't get taken. They're selfish, but that's a warning to us. But to them, that's just what they got to do to survive. We don't have to do that. We can decide. And why a lion? And just be clear on this. Lion is living in love-based emotions. A lioness is living in that strength of love and courage and determination and passion and humor and fun, all these things, positive emotional states. Because from there, we find the way, we find the answers. And we are very loving, not just to ourselves, but all the people we care about, and even strangers. And that's really the ideal place. That's where we're most creative. That's where we solve problems. It's also where life is fun. Those people like to be around people like that, so you can really become a great leader. And so, lion and lamb. A lion is not about being tough and mean and, about intimidation. Like some people get these they have these preconceived notions and beliefs that they're not aware of. So they're like, I'm a lion. Like, yeah, your lion is like, hey, I'm going to train no matter what. I'm going to wake up in the morning to put myself in state so that I will have a great day. I will create a great day, and I will serve at the highest level. That's what that's about. Now, so how do we take this? Well, when you need a higher purpose for training. So how do we always train? How do we never miss? Because that's what everyone should do. Because when your purpose of training isn't to look a certain way, that's a side effect that comes from living it. When your purpose is to feel good, to put yourself in state so you can live a great life, why would you ever miss a workout? No, there's no reason to ever miss a workout, and you shouldn't. But you can't, say you didn't sleep. Say I just traveled all night and I didn't sleep very much, and then I was helping people all day. And, now it's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I got to get this out to my people here. I need to serve. And I'm excited to do it because of my purpose. I train every morning. Like this morning, I woke up and I trained. Why? Because I'm going to go help Tony. And when he wakes up, I'm going to wake him up, and he's going to be like, oh, hey, Billy, what's going on? He's not worried about me because he'll want to help me. And I won't, I'm his best friend for a reason. I will not allow that to happen. I will show up every day. And I know you guys are the same way. It's why I can share this. And I wouldn't share this in a public setting of people that know who Tony is, because, he's a great man and he helps a lot of people. And I know when I help him, I help a lot of people indirectly, and I don't have to stand there and talk to him, which is great because I'm not as social as him. But that's a beautiful thing. So I woke up earlier and I trained. But did I crush it? No, I didn't crush it. I trained brief, but I did the workout. And my whole thing, I just made it fun. I moved around. I was shadowboxing in between sets and stuff and having fun and laughing. All those mental conditioning things I say in the workouts to do, that's what we're doing. So today is what I call, there are two types of workouts, two types of training sessions. This is what I call flow sessions. Hey, you didn't sleep very much, you didn't get a lot of food yesterday, and you got a big day ahead, you got to be your best, put yourself in state. So do the workout and make it fun. And I didn't limit it. I went through the whole thing, but I just didn't have the fuel in me. But I was like, I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm going to go through this flow workout. And that's when you flow, you want to sweat, you want to challenge yourself, but you're not killing yourself. You're not going 100%, but I was going 85, and I was sweating, and I was out of breath, and I was enjoying it. That's what I call flow workout. And that's a lot of cardio days would be like that. And you'll see those instructions in those workouts, because I don't want you to go 100% every day, because it depends on these recovery factors. You damage your body when you work out. Did you know that? Yeah, but you don't over damage it. There's two types of stress. There's distress, which is more than your body can handle, and so there's a price to pay. Then there's eustress, EU stress, and that is a positive stress. It's a stimulus for your body to become stronger. It's a stimulus for your body to have more energy. It's a stimulus for your body to improve. And here's a thing I learned from Lee Haney, who was one of the best bodybuilders of all time back in the 1980s. He said, stimulate the body, don't annihilate. And if you ever see a picture of Lee Haney, you would know that he's a person probably to listen to. Very smart, very intelligent, but successful and in peak condition and insane level. Like, he makes Arnold Schwarzenegger not look that fit, even when he was younger. So it's that stimulate, don't annihilate. Challenge creates change. So if you only do flow workouts, will you challenge your body enough? Will you get enough of a stimulus to improve? Probably not. But it really depends on not just the training, but also your nutrition, your hydration. You need to get an adequate amount of calories, not too low, not too high, and an adequate amount of protein, an adequate amount of water, adequate amount of sleep. Those are your recovery factors. So as you damage the body, it has what it needs to repair. So it's not distress, it's eustress. You stimulate it, not annihilate it. It's really important. So what's the difference between a fight and flow? Now, you guys are achievers, so you probably know what fight is. It's like you watch a training montage of Rocky, right? It's like you go for it and you crush it. But the difference is you're not suffering. Most people train, and I used to do this, I used to train like I thought like it was smart to train to a point where I vomited. And I would do it. And it wasn't because I was nervous, it's because I trained so hard that the blood was going away from my digestive tract and there was no resources there. So it's like, hey, whatever's in here has got to come out. And I would throw up. And I got some great stories, but I won't gross you out with them. But how do you know which one to do? Well, your goal is fight workouts. And on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, those are the days where we're doing resistance training. Those are the days where you get the most benefit, especially for body transformation, to build muscle and decrease fat. Those are the most important days. And then cardio days are important too, but it's just because we can't train with weights every day because your nutrition has to be really on point. Your sleep needs to be really on point. You guys you give a lot. You're go-getters, but you're go-givers too. Like, you are there to serve. So you're always going to put a lot of people in front of you. And the first thing is you got to keep doing that because that's who you are. That's your nature. That's what fills you up. And that's how you serve. And so what do? Well, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if you got the resource, if you've been sleeping, push yourself on those days. Those are a day where the magic really happens. The other days you're recovering from that resistance training. And we keep the workouts brief so your body can recover. I can go through the whole endocrine response of what happens during a training session. If you're interested, let me know and I'll go through that. I would love to. Fairly simple, the way I explain it anyway. And here's the thing. Shoot for fight days all the time. But learn to listen to your body. We have all these gadgets and stuff to measure, and I do that stuff, but really it's feedback, biofeedback. Like, how am I feeling? Okay, what does the gadget say? It's not like, what's the gadget say? And now, so this will determine my day. Like, I have clients that wear the Whoop strap, and they'll be like, oh, I'm in the red, which means they're not supposed to train hard that day. That's what they think it says. It's not what it says. It means you do a flow workout. You train anyway, because you have a greater reason and purpose for training. So remember, fight or flow. When do you train? You always train. If you want to be your best and you want to give your best, there's no excuse. You get sick, what do? You do a flow workout, but maybe you only do it for 10 minutes, right? So that's one of the rules, is a 10-minute rule. You train 10 minutes no matter what. This is from research on behavior modification at Harvard, and it's been replicated, so it's very valid, and I've tested with a lot of people, but the whole thing is like breaking things into chunks, like saying like, oh man, I got to train for 30 minutes or 20 minutes. That's not a lot, just so you know, but if it may seem like it on some days. So you say, I'm going to train for 10 minutes no matter what. I'm going to set up my workout, review it, and then go for it. Set a timer for 10 minutes, and when time expires, I'm going to reassess. Most of the time, you'll feel great. You just had to get going because it wasn't the body that was failing you. It was the mind that was failing you, because everything that has ever been created in life, everything that has ever been achieved in this world, first began as a thought. Everything is created on a mental plane, in our minds, and then if we keep focusing on it and giving it energy and concentrating, but we start to get emotion, and that emotion is like, hey, yeah, I feel good, let's go crush it. Or, oh man, I don't feel good. And they start to, meditate and give it a mantra of, self-destruction. Like, oh, why do we sabotage ourselves? Because we meditate on it. We make it a mantra. But you're the type of person that would be aware of this, and that's the first step. You're the type of person that will not tolerate that. And I'm here to tell you, this is the standard for training. It is to never miss. You train 6 times a week, no matter what. If you want to do Sunday, you can. But Sunday is a day to have a contrast. and to do something fun, like, do something you never do, shoot baskets, or, learn boxing, or just go for a walk in nature, or go swimming, or, go paddleboarding or surfing, whatever it is. Try something new though, and that expands your synapses. You actually become more intelligent by doing and learning new things. But it's fight or flow. Those are your options. When you train, always, what do? Fight or flow? That's what you got to learn. And you only learn by doing it. No one can teach you. I can only guide you in this area, but you got to live it. All right, if you have questions on this, you want to know some other things, any other topics, let me know and I'll be sure to cover it. I love you guys. You got this. You're lions, not lambs. You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.